Complexity is killing your coaching business. Here is how to fix it. Okay, my name is Michael Keenan from growthlego.com. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a really common issue I see across the board amongst coaches, consultants, which really tends to lead them to kind of find it really hard to ever scale past that $10,000 to $20,000 a month mark within their business. And that is just too much complexity. And when I say too much complexity, really what causes that is having too many offers, too many funnels, or too many traffic channels. The main one here really is too many offers, and that's what I see most commonly. And what this leads to when you have too many different offers is, number one, foggy messaging. If you're selling all these different things, then there's no way you can speak directly to one type of customer. If you try and speak to everyone, you're going to end up speaking to nobody, right? Number two is confused prospects. Someone might come across you from organic or paid marketing. They might really need some help, but they see all these different offers. They don't know which one to buy, and they just end up buying none of them. And then lastly is operational complexity. It becomes a minefield to try and run the business. There's always things breaking. There's never enough time in the day to manage everything, particularly if you're trying to scale. And what this leads to is all of these things make it nightmarishly difficult to scale your business past $10,000 to $20,000 per month. And look, I understand why these things can happen. If you are an entrepreneur, a coach, consultant, course creator, you might want to help people. You might be relatively creative. It can be tempting to create all these different offers that you sell to the market. But the reality is the simplest way to scale past $30,000 to $50,000 per month with your coaching business is to have one offer, one funnel, and one traffic channel. And I don't just say this because I think it's possible or I assume it's possible. I say this because I've done it, I've helped many others do it, and I've seen many, many others do it within their business. And the way to execute this, the way to implement this, is to start with a front-end offer. Now, although I'm calling this a front-end offer for a while, it's going to be your only offer. And this should be something priced at least $500. And if you're listening to this or watching this and you're like, well, my offers are less than $500, people wouldn't spend $500. I guarantee you in 95% of circumstances, they absolutely would. You just need to figure out how to make your offer more valuable, solve a bigger problem for your niche. Maybe a small percentage of the time it doesn't make sense. I'll touch on that in a second, but most cases it does. And then just focus on helping your ideal customer solve or achieve the key transformation that they all want. Now, if you're watching this and you do have many different offers, what I would suggest you do is look across the board at your offers. Let's say you have 5 offers. Generally, what you'll find is 1, maybe 2 of those offers are contributing to the vast majority of the revenue. It's the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of the input, 20% of the offers lead to 80% of the output, 80% of the revenue and sales. So I would just choose whichever offer is already the most successful, already selling the most, already pulling in the most revenue, and focus on that one. And then just ditch everything else and make your core offer as good as it possibly can be. If you currently have other offers, you can either combine them with your main offer to make it even more valuable. You could offer them as free bonuses, so when someone signs up to your core offer or signs up within a predetermined time frame, they get the other offers for free as a bonus. Or you could literally just give the other offers away for free entirely. And if you're like, Michael, well, I used to charge for these offers, why would I give them away for free? Well, the reality is, and I heard a saying from Tim Ferriss many years ago, which I want to share with you here. And he said, if something isn't going to make you a ton of money, just give it away for free. And the reason he said this is because the ROI of providing massive value to the market and the positive word of mouth you get off the back of that far outweighs what someone might be willing to pay you for it, particularly, or not even considering the time it takes you to fulfill that offer, to deal with the customers, to think about it, to kind of maintain it, etc. So that's how I would craft a front-end offer. Just to touch on really quickly here when low-tech offers, so offers under $500 might make sense. And look, it can possibly make sense if you have a large engaged audience. Let's say you have like 30,000 followers on Instagram who are heavily engaged, and that's a number that's growing, like it's an audience that's growing. Then it might make sense because you can achieve enough volume of sales without spending much on ads. Or if you just categorically refuse to do sales calls. Because if you refuse to do sales calls, even refuse to hire a closer who can do sales calls for you, then again, you're going to find it really hard to sell something for thousands of dollars, or at least $2, $3, $4 plus $1,000. So at that point, it can make sense to sell something lower ticket. But either way, I would suggest that you kind of get over that fear, get over that discomfort around doing sales calls, and sell something higher ticket. Cool. Now, moving on to the backend offer. So the backend offer, what is a backend offer first and foremost? A backend offer is an offer which is only sold to your existing customers. So it's only sold to people that have already bought your front end offer. And I would only consider implementing a backend offer once all of these pieces of criteria have been met. So number one, your front end offer is already generating a minimum of $30,000 to $50,000 per month. Your existing customers are very happy and success rate is very high. This is critical because if we're only selling our back-end offer to people that have already bought our front-end offer, then it's really only going to be people that were happy and got results with our front-end offer that buy our back-end, right? So we need to make sure people are happy and get results with their front-end, so then we have a large number of people to sell the back-end offer to. You want to have successful students who have a new set of problems which they didn't have initially. So I'll give you an example here. Let's say your front-end offer helps people start their own copywriting business and grow to $5,000 to $10,000 per month. Once someone goes through that program, let's say it takes them a few months to see results, but then they get to that point and they have their own copywriting business making $5,000 to $10,000 per month. Now they're at a point where they're like, okay, cool, this is awesome, but how do I scale to $30,000 to $50,000 per month? And that might be the point where it makes sense for them to transition to an agency model, to build a team, to delegate some of the tasks, and to land higher ticket projects and retainer clients. So that's a new set of problems they have, which you could solve with your back-end offer. Lastly here, successful students from your front-end offer are asking you if you have something higher level they can buy. This is another great sign that it could be time to consider a back-end offer as well. When people who bought your front-end offer are asking you if they can pay more to get extra support or get help with new problems that they have. Now, assuming these things have been met, these are the type of back-end offers you can implement, or the two I would generally recommend. So the first one, which is my typical recommended one, my favorite one here, is an Ascension program. So this is a back-end program that costs more than your front-end program. It's a higher ticket program that someone can move on to. And you can also offer a recurring subscription. This is another possible one. It's not my favorite, but it can make sense in a couple of different situations, which I'll touch on. Just to really quickly here touch on lower ticket backend programs. So let's say you sell a front end for $1,000. I would never sell a backend program for less than $1,000 or have a lower ticket offer than your front end. The reason being, if the people buying your backend offer are going to be people that already bought your front end and got results, we know at a minimum they're willing to spend the investment of your front end. So they were willing to spend $1,000. They were happy with it. They got results with it. There's not going to be any customers in a better position to spend more money with you. They are perfectly primed to spend more money with you. That's why I would suggest selling something higher ticket at that point. Also allows you to provide more value and help them get to the next stage. Cool. Now, how to structure an Ascension program. So when it comes to your Ascension backend program, it should be at least 3 times the investment of the front end offer. So let's say your front end was $1,000, it should be at least $3,000, but it could easily be $5,000, $10,000, etc. It should be at least 3 times the investment at the front end, and it should help your successful students solve their next set of problems. That's how I would think about it. And obviously, I gave you the example of the copywriting program there, which you can apply to what you teach and who you help. Now, when do recurring subscription backend offers make sense? As I said, these aren't my favorite, but they can make sense sometimes. The reason they're not my favorite is because, number one, it's a different business model. We're trying to keep things simple here. But if you go from selling a one-time offer, front-end offer, to a back-end subscription model, it is possible, but now you're operating a subscription model, which is a different business model to your front-end. Now you have to worry about churn and retention and other things like that, which are just going to take up your focus. Now, in terms of when it can make sense, however, is if you can provide something which your clients, your customers are going to need anyway, but you can provide it better and cheaper than it would otherwise cost them. I'll give you a couple examples here. So the first one is if, for example, let's say you're selling the copywriting program and there's a piece of software your students are going to need which costs $200 per month, let's say, and they're going to need this anyway. It's not your software, but they're going to need it anyway. If you can then build your own version of the software, which is even better than the main one, has some other features in it as well, but instead of $200, your one costs $120 a month, all of a sudden, that becomes really valuable to your students because, number one, you're saving them money and you're providing them added value, in which case it can make sense to have an ongoing subscription business model there. It can also make sense if you're providing ongoing services which add constant value to them over time. That's where it can make sense. But where I don't generally find it makes a lot of sense is if you sell someone initially on a one-to-one coaching program, and then you try and upsell them onto a recurring subscription model for group coaching, for accountability. Look, these things can make sense, but again, I just think they add unnecessary complexity. You'd be far better just creating a higher ticket program which you ascend your successful students to. Cool. In summary, you need one offer, one funnel, and one traffic channel to reach $30,000 to $50,000 per month. Create a killer front-end offer priced at $500. Implement a back-end offer once A, you're making at least $30,000 per month, and B, you have successful students who ask you for it. And lastly, your back-end offer should be a significantly higher ticket offer for students who succeed with your front end. Implement these things and you can scale your coaching or consulting business to $100,000 per month.